Hi, my name is Sara. I've been planning Journey from the Road for a while now, and it's officially starting in April this year, so in less than a month. Journey from the Road is about sharing meaningful stories while cycling towards the east through videos, through pictures, and through written stories about the people and about the places and about my experiences also from the road. As part of the preparation, I've been doing single trips to villages near Zaragoza. Zaragoza is my hometown, and it's also the city I lived in the last 2 years. I will be leaving from here. Also, as part of the training, I'm doing a 10-day trip around Spain. Today is the 5th of March. I'm releasing this video on the 10th of March, so I should be arriving at my destination, which is Delta del Ebro. I don't know if I told you in other social media accounts, but I'm telling you that I should be arriving today, Thursday, to Delta del Ebro. In this video, I'm going to tell you why I chose this destination, what are the things that I have in mind when planning a route, the tools I use for planning the route, and I will also be planning this actual route because I'm leaving tomorrow, but I haven't planned it yet. I just have the destination, but we will plan together, the route. So why I chose Delta del Ebro among all the other options. In January, I did a short brainstorming of possible places I could go, and it's right here. I originally planned to do it in February, but at the end I'm doing it in March. So I had several options. The island of Sardinia. In Italy, I could go toward the south of Spain from Zaragoza. I had Via de la Plata, which is an official Camino de Santiago that goes from the south of Spain, from Seville, all the way to Santiago, and it's 1,000 kilometers, mostly flat. And I also had the option of flying to the Canary Island. I think that option is very popular among cyclotourists because of the good weather, the nice views, and also the changing elevation gain, the hills, that allows you to properly training. At the end, I haven't chosen all these options basically because of the logistics. I wanted to leave from Zaragoza, which is the city I'm based now, to avoid taking planes, taking the train or the bus and carrying all my stuff. It was more simple to leave from Zaragoza. I'm currently going towards the east of Spain to Delta del Ebro. Delta del Ebro is where the main river that crosses Zaragoza meets the sea, and I thought it could be a nice option to see that. I think I've been there a very long time ago, maybe 15 or more than 15 years ago, and I wasn't going by bike, obviously. What are the things about Delta del Ebro? Located in the east, so the more in the east, the better the weather. The distance from Zaragoza to Delta del Ebro is around 250 kilometers. So I will be doing a total of 500 kilometers because I will come back by bike also. And I think it's a decent amount for training. And one last thing, I will have a combination of flat roads and also mountainous areas. I will try both, and this will be very good for the training. One of the tools I really like to use is physical maps. I have one here from Spain and Portugal, which I will be using for this trip and also for the beginning of my long-term trip. So why do I like to have a physical map? When I was doing my first trip from Zaragoza to Oviedo, I made a very rough plan based on no experience because I didn't have any long-term cycling experience before that trip. So I changed my plans every day almost. I knew I was going to leave from Zaragoza and I knew I was going to arrive to Oviedo. From the map, I could see all the possibilities, all the alternatives, all the cities I could go from one place to another. It gives me a broad perspective of all the alternatives. And this map, for example, has a lot of good details, many kind of roads, scenic routes, and it's very useful. And also if you run out of battery, which could happen, then you have this and you can rely on this. So now we are going to see everything that I personally have in mind when I'm planning a route. Some of the things you can control them, and some other things you cannot, and there are also other things that are unpredictable, but that's the meaning of traveling by bike. You have many factors you have to balance. For this 10-day training trip, I'm going from Zaragoza to Delta del Ebro, which is around 250 kilometers. I really like to have a map, to use a physical map, because then you can see all the options that you have to go from one place to another. So here there is a lot of details of the roads, this one, or there are plenty of roads. And then the average distance I will be cycling per day would be around 50 kilometers. So for example, on my first day, I could be going towards this direction. I could stop somewhere in Quinto or even Gelsa, Azaila, and then I would go to Google Maps to see what kind of things there are in this village, for example. In Spain, there is a limitation. You cannot cycle in freeways or motorways, so I couldn't take this one or this one. But I could take all of these, the ones in red, the ones in yellow, and the ones in white. So there are many options. When you have this in mind, it's easier to plan the trip. Smaller roads crosses more villages. It's an important thing because I will need to buy supplies every 2 days, more or less. For the water, I will be fine. There are many fountains normally, but for food, I will need to stop by. And also another variable here would be the elevation. So I think around this area, it will be flat, but once I'm here, it will be more challenging. You also have the information of the mountain passes. Here you have an example of a mountain pass highlighted in green. You have the scenic routes that they recommend. And then if you want to see more detail, for example, the distance from this city to here, I can check the specific details at an application and it will show me the elevation gain and so on. And another variable I will have to have in mind is where the warm showers host will be located. So there's one here, another here, and another one here. And I also draw the camping sites. I spotted the ones that are very close to my route. So this one, and this. And other things you cannot control could be basically the weather, because the forecast is not 100% accurate, so you never know. You can have a problem with the bike or your equipment, which can stop you for an hour or two and you won't arrive at your planned destination. And you can have good recommendations from local people. They might tell you, go towards this road because it's nicer, or there is a place you must visit around the area, something like that. You never know. And one last thing is the unpredictability of the road or of the people. You never know who you are going to meet. You never know if you're going to like a place very much and maybe spend 1 or 2 days there. So that kind of things you will know them once you're there, and it's a good thing to be flexible, not to plan too much. So now you have seen that the route is not really a plan, but it's an open plan, a combination of routes and a combination of alternatives that you can take from one place to another. And it's going to be even more open if you don't have a fixed destination or a fixed amount of time, which is something I won't have when I will be doing the long-term trip. Also, there are many factors that influence directly the road you're going to take. Some of them you can control them, some of them you cannot. But the important thing here is that we have to remain open and flexible, willing to explore and listen to the recommendations of of the local people. I think that is the nice, the good part of traveling by bike. I think that not knowing exactly what's going to happen on the road, where you are going to sleep, what you are going to eat, who you are going to meet, these unpredictable things are in one side the scariest part, but in the other side is the nicest part, the beautiful part of traveling by bike. So I think it's worth it.